What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Glad to have you here. Hope everybody has had a great summer. It is now the middle of September, and fall is not supposed to start, but it's still, still the heat of the summer here in St. Louis. So, but that's all right. So, I want to talk a little bit today about a video that I just saw from El Presidente, Mr. John Mangini. And it's a few days old by now, so you probably already seen it. But he talks about, or he asks the question: is collecting dead, right? And is the collector no longer able to be a viable option in the industry based on a number of factors? And when I started watching this video, my first thought was, no way. I think it's clearly that I think he knew the answer to the question before he asked it, but he brings up some really good points. And one of the things he asked, though, was, are there fewer collectors out there making videos? And he talks a little bit about it. And I think he's mentioned this before. Maybe one of you mentioned it on a video I saw. But people out there ranting about this or ranting about that, or talking about what their cards, not their cards, or what cards are hot in the market and things of that nature. So, which is really all not in line with collecting. But I see a few of those out there. But by and large, maybe it's just the people that I watch and that I follow. But by and large, most of the folks out there that I watch and comment on are collectors like myself. Well, like he is. Mangini's a collector himself, and you probably are too. So like I said, it's probably a question he knew the answer to, but points he brings up are valid. He talks a lot about flipping and how that has really changed the nature of the card market for the collector, and it's true. You've got quite a bit of people out there that they just they buy and flip, and that's what they do. They want to make a couple dollars, or maybe that's their hobby. Maybe they don't really care how much money they make. They just like to buy and sell. I'm sure that many of us are like myself, and at some point or another, we thought that we would want to buy and sell cards, right? I used to set up at card shows and sell a few cards, but after a while, it really wasn't my thing because it got me too far away from the collecting aspect of it. But if they want to do that, that's fine. I don't have a problem with them flipping cards. Does it affect me? Probably, in the sense that it does cause higher values on the secondary market for certain cards. But the way I collect and the things that I collect, I'm probably not going to be affected too much by it. I'm pretty focused on what I collect, but nonetheless, if it's clear that I'm not going to go buy a pack, and I'm not going to go or a box of cards to look for that elusive chase card or insert card or whatever it is, right? I'm going to wait for it to come out on the secondary market and buy it there. And frankly, I'll probably buy it cheaper than I've had to go search through packs for it. So the fact that somebody else has already done all that work for me and spent all that money on those cards, on those packs of cards, opened them all up and found those cards and put them on the secondary market, that's okay. I appreciate that. Now you took the hard work away from me, and frankly, it cost me less money because one of the other things that Mangini mentioned was that the market for the new stuff, right? The packs and the boxes are really just, I don't even know what they cost now, but I don't, because I don't buy them, but I can't imagine that they're cheap. Especially with all of the variations, the higher valued versions of cards that are out there and packs and things of that nature. And I think can't you buy cards that have a box of cards that has a single card in it, and you spend a couple $100 on it or something like that? I've seen a couple people do that on videos, but I don't know if that's a big thing. But anyway, even if you walk into just a regular shop and you want to buy the standard base set of tops, I'm not going to buy that. despite the fact that I'm looking for some cards, or maybe I want to collect a set. Um, but it's just not conducive anymore to do that kind of stuff. So it's just too expensive. And frankly, there's a lot better options out there for me to fill my collection than to buy all of those cards like that. So I'd rather spend my money on the secondary market, picking and choosing the cards that I want to buy and putting them into my collection. So, but again, if people want to buy those cards and flip them, that's okay. Um, so, um, so here's a question though: those people who do buy boxes, and if you're one of them, I'd be interested to know what you do with all of those extra cards that you just don't want. I mean, do you buy a box of cards looking for that 101 Paul Skeens like last year, or those rainbow chase cards or whatever they are that might be in those packs? Do you buy a box of cards looking for those things? And if you do, what do you do with all the cards you don't want? Maybe that's the next thing, right? Maybe the thing that's next is we have an outlet to sell or trade probably the better idea of all of our commons that we have, because either that or you throw them away, right? But if you're like me, you got them in the bottom of your closet because you just can't make yourself throw those cards away, even though you're probably never going to see the light of day. But so maybe that's the next thing. Maybe there's an avenue for that. Now, there's still people who do that at shows, and your LCS also, no doubt, has boxes of comics you can sort through. I was at a card show this past weekend where there's a couple of vendors that show up there, and they've got, I don't know, 4 or 5 or 6 5,000 count boxes of commons. People were just sitting there thumbing through them looking for them because the guy was trying to sell them for 10 cents a piece. So, or even there's another vendor there that has some of the older stuff, the 70s and 80s commons that people sort through. And I've sat there and sorted through those, looking for cards that I want to round out some of my sets from that era. So it's still out there. People still build sets and still sort through commons. So maybe we just need more of that market. But there is less emphasis on set building. But there's just so much other options out there to do, right? You can buy those specific cards, or you can wait on secondary market for those specific cards. So, but and set building doesn't have to be the full set, right? You don't have to build the whole manufacturer's set of however big they are now, 500 cards or 700 cards or whatever it is, 792 cards, right? You can find smaller sets to build. I've shown a couple of those on my channel already that I do. Or maybe you make up your own sets, right? A lot of us have Hall of Fame binders. That's a set, right? I have sets of cool cards that I collect, so which are just categories of cards that I have deemed cool, that don't really fall into any other category, but it's a set, right? Like I've got some cards here, and I have a shelf in my room that I put about half a dozen cards on there. It's not a very big shelf, and so I put 4 or 5 cards on there, and I swap them out every now and then. And the ones I just took down are my what I call the froze stashes and chops cards, and this is exactly what it sounds like, right? So it's got we've got the froze, right? When this is the ultimate Afro card, right? The 76 Topps Oscar Gamble card. Everybody loves this card. I love this card. Who doesn't love this card, right? 1981 Silvio Martinez. Look at that permed and wonderfully groomed afro. A lot of love that one, right? Gary Gaetti on the 86 Fleer, sporting the stash, right? Like he used to be in the movies, sporting the stash there. And then on the chop side of the house, Bob Gibson, sporting those chops on the side. So So this is a set. This is a set that I have. And we slowly build those sets, but you make up your own sets, right? So I don't think set building's quite dead. It's just different right now, right? So, but at the end of the day, there's really two sides, right? There's those who flip and then those who collect. And we can all live together. We can all be in one big happy family in this wonderful world of sports cards and baseball cards, right? We don't have to look down on each other. It's just we could live in concert with each other. So that's it. I'll leave the link to Mangini's video below if you haven't seen that yet. But that's what I got today. Enjoy.